Okay, pre-algebra, both classes. These are multi-step equations with distributive property. I kind of warned you about them last week, that these are going to be the most complicated equations that we do. So I'm going to do a couple of examples. You know how to do everything in this because you practice everything. We're just kind of putting it all together. So first thing we would do is, of course, draw the line. And now the next thing that we need to do is we're going to get rid of our parentheses by doing distributive property. So here on the left side, I'm going to distribute my positive 2 to my 4x and my negative 3. Now some of you guys aren't real great about showing your steps, so be really careful about dropping everything down as you go one step at a time. So I'm going to bring this negative 3x down, and now I'm going to multiply my positive 2 times 4x, which is positive 8x, and now my positive 2 times negative 3. Okay, I got a text and I'm not quite sure what the last thing I said was. So it says here negative 3x plus 8x, and if you remember we talked about how we squish those together. So that would be 5x over here on the left side minus 6. And now we could look at the right side to see if we have anything alike, and we also have two x's, 7x and then minus 4x. So we're going to squish those together over here, and that gives us 3x. And then I'm going to bring down my plus 4. And now we have a two-step equation, or not a two-step, but an equation with 4 terms, variables on both sides. So now it's getting a little bit easier. And I'm going to switch colors here to green. So now what I want to do is I want to get my x's together. So I'm going to move my smaller x, which is my 3x. So I'm going to write minus 3x, and this time I'm moving it across the equal sign, so I do the opposite to get rid of it. And I write minus 3x under the 5x, and that gives me 2x. So I bring down my minus 6 equals 4, and now I have a two-step equation. It's getting a lot easier. So the next thing I'm going to do is add 6 to both sides, cancels that out, and that gives me 2x equals 10. And then the last step is just to divide by 2, and I'm running out of room, so I'll write it over here, and I get x equals 5. And that's the answer. So we have one more example, and I haven't written it out yet, so I'm going to move on to the next page and pause for a second. Okay, so here is example 2, and of course the first thing we do, draw the line. Now I'm going to distribute on the left side, and what I have to distribute this time is just the negative sign. So that means, remember, it's like you're multiplying negative 1 times both things, or you can just always think that makes what's inside turn opposite. So the negative 3y becomes a positive 3y, and the positive 6 becomes a negative 6, and that is distributing the negative sign. So it's like saying negative 1 times each of those things. Negative 1 times negative 3y would be positive 3y, and then negative 1 times positive 6 would be negative 6. Then I'm going to bring down my plus 7, because I don't distribute all the way to it since it wasn't in parentheses, and I bring down everything on the left side. Now the next step is to combine any like terms on each side separately. So I'm going to look at the left side, and I have 2y and 5y. So it's a positive 2y and a positive 5y. So combined together, that gives me 7y. Bring down my minus 3. And on the left side, or on the right side, I have negative 6 and positive 7. So that means I'm going to bring down my 3y. And negative 6 plus 7 is a positive 1, so I'm going to write plus 1. So now my next step is to get my x's on the same side of the equation. So I'm going to move the 3y over, so that means now I do the opposite. So I cancel that out, so minus 3y over here. And that gives me 4y. Then I bring down my minus 3 equals, and bring down my 1. Now the next thing I'm going to do is solve my two-step equation that's left over by adding 3 to both sides. And I end up with 4y equals 4. And so the next thing I'd have to do is divide by 4, and I'm running out of room again. I'll write the answer over here. And 4 divided by 4 is 1, so y equals 1. So that's it. It just adds an extra step of distributing up there at the top at the beginning of the equation, and then you're just solving it like we've solved the multi-term equations that we've already done. So remember that combine like terms on each side separately means you're just squishing them together. You're not moving them across the equal sign yet. And then once you have it down to this step where you have 4 terms, then you can move your variables to the other side. All the problems on your homework today work out evenly. I worked each one of them to make sure. And I noticed that a couple of them look like they didn't copy very well. So if any of those plus signs look like division signs, they are not. They are plus signs. There are no division signs on this paper. So I hope that helps. Discount people, you can skip number 8, and I will see you on Tuesday. Have a good day.